Hey builders, Brick Ready Up with what is going to be my first haul video from Brickworld, having all of the Star Wars and superhero custom LEGO minifigures that I bought, with some figures by Maydayfigs and in collaboration with some other people, Orbital Minifigures and Jedi Master Gosling there. Very excited to check out all of these, especially the brand new style of packaging for those Mayday minifigures there. Haven't really had any that came like this, so let's go ahead and check those out first. Both figure boxes are going to feature these really nice cardboard boxes with a, sliding over case. There's Arabesh on both of them. That actually might be the Geonosian language, I guess, since they were a little bit different. On the side, same sort of thing. I'm going to guess these are the minifigure titles that are, usually code names. So we have Extreme Prejudice and also the Ransom Menace. This one features custom wings, and this one has a custom hairpiece, some other write-ups that these are printed on official LEGO minifigure parts for the most part, other than the custom pieces, obviously. And let's go ahead and crack them open. You can see that the box layouts for Aurra Sing as well as Fac are pretty much the same, just with the foam insert being inverted. The arms are separated from the torso. They just wanted to do that so they didn't crack the parts. You get the custom wing set there, and then I also bought the extra headpiece for Aurra Sing, so I'll toss that on later. Both figures come with a card which talks about who made these. Fac was printed by Grandpa Clone Customs, and Aurra was printed by Light Customs, so lots of different collaborations on these minifigures. Looks like the designs were both done by Melnick. And, of course, also with Maydayfigs. So some cool packaging, very unique. Not going to see this on a ton of custom minifigures at this price point. So makes it feel a little bit more premium, obviously. Let's go ahead and toss Fac on the stand. Fully decked out with the wings and also the shoulder piece. Here's what the minifigure looks like out of the packaging. The face print is extremely close to the one that was just on the generic Clone Wars Geonosian. I think all of the print was redone on it, but honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they just printed the new sort of scarred blocked eye there. So everything else is extremely close. So it's really hard to tell. There are some subtle color differences, but it could also be this was the older version of the fig, and then they printed another set of them for a different LEGO set. So that could be the variation between the factories. I guess I'm not 100% sure. I'm noticing on that right eye that the detailing is slightly different with the line thickness, so I could definitely see it either way. Of course, other than that, not a whole lot similar between these, but obviously the sort of like waist lines and then the gray used to kind of imply that is going to be the same, since they are based off of the same episodes and same sort of style in that regard. This one, though, uses the Demogorgon legs, of course, with printing on them for this character instead, which is a very creative use of the part from that character, using it on this one now. From what I understand, and they said during the panel, they found a bunch of those parts in the Pick-a-Brick in Denmark somewhere, so that's kind of insane, being able to find like 100 of those to make all of these figures. The custom wings look pretty good and are pretty similar to other Geonosian wings that LEGO has done themselves, with kind of a thicker, clear plastic. Arm printing is also included, which is why they didn't want them on the torsos. And I'm going to go ahead and take off the wings as well as the shoulder piece. But before we toss on Fac again, here are his legs, just tossed on a generic Geonosian minifigure first. Seems like the belt lines actually line up pretty well, so it will be pretty compatible. And I guess if you were able to somehow get a ton of these legs, you could army build a little bit and add these to your normal Geonosians, but I don't think it's going to be pretty easy to track those down unless you can make some deals with some people. And I guess I'll throw this onto Poggle as well, which again isn't going to look super off-putting. His legs did have a little bit more on the detail side than the generic army, I guess, Geonosian type character. But having the extra detailing on the feet is nice, and the extra curves definitely, like I already said, for the normal version of the custom figure we were looking at, just brings it a little bit closer to the actual movie accurate version. And again, like I said, let's continue on to the Fac review. And that way you'll be able to see the back printing a little bit better. And you can see pretty much the exact same design as the older figure. which makes me wonder if the rest of the printing on here is just printed over this original figure in some way. Maybe not, since there are those subtle differences on the neck area, but it is very interesting to see the back look the exact same. So they could have just pretty much copied this design, or if this minifigure was in the Skywalker saga in some way, maybe that's where they got that from. Arm printing looks nice though, with some subtle orange speckling, which calls back to the face print as well, where there's a little bit of that. The legs, have those nice little toes to make it seem like it only has, 2 different toes instead of a full foot. Obviously the mold definitely does a lot more of the implying for the shape of the leg that the characters have in the movies, and as well as the Clone Wars, so nice to see that. And I really don't think custom version of a Geonosian could look anywhere near as good if they didn't use the custom legs from the Demogorgon. And it's nice that they were able to just reuse the mold that LEGO already did for the Geonosian head, because honestly, both versions of this head mold that they've done have been pretty good. Unfortunately, I don't know where my original minifigures from the first set that they did those in like 2002 or 3 are, so I won't be able to put them in the comparison. But I do have the version that I showed off a little bit earlier in the video, as well as Poggle, so I'll have some different Star Wars minifigures to compare to when we get to that. But this is very cool, especially for the price. There's some nice detailing, especially with all the different colors on the torso. Definitely blends together very well, and it is nice to see a head that is very similar to the style of the original minifigures that came out for the Clone Wars era. This will be a nice addition to your Star Wars and Clone Wars collection. Let's go ahead and get to Aurra Sing, which ends up being kind of an interesting character in the Star Wars lore, since she did originally appear in the Phantom Menace, which I'm sure is why they went with the Ransom Menace, since she is a bounty hunter. She was in the pod racing scenes and just happened to be kind of in the background. She has some nice wraparound leg printing where they implied dual molding, which I've seen with a couple different other custom companies. Looks like on that, I guess, her right leg, some of that brown is missing a little bit, so it is a little imperfect. But since on the back of the minifigure it's not as glaring as it could be, it seems like for the most part the wraparound is fine though. Side of the leg on this side, you have a holster for a pistol, and on the other side, looks like the same sort of thing. In the Phantom Menace, she had a big sniper rifle. For this version of the minifigure, you don't get any accessories, but I'm sure you could toss something in on your own if you really wanted to. And I think they pretty much said that this design was ripped from the Skywalker saga, other than the face, which was designed separately. They kind of complained about some of those face designs from the game, how they didn't really match the LEGO style, and I definitely think that this fits pretty well, especially for character, whether it is from the movies or if you want to go for more of a Clone Wars look. She's obviously sporting her jumpsuit, and it looks like that is looking pretty clean, and including vest printing as well. One arm has a red strap, the other side has nothing. You get the nice custom molded hairpiece, which is something that LEGO also did. And this is why they couldn't include a dual-sided face, since the hair wasn't covered all the way, and I got that second one instead. But fits pretty well into the stud on the top of the head, and it gives you some range of movement. If you wanted to get her into some action poses, you can move the hair around a little bit to kind of aid you in that. Just take that off quick to check out the back printing, which is going to be the rest of her vest. Looks like she has some random weapons or gadgets or whatever that she would probably end up using. Could be parts of her sniper rifle. There is a very slight print for a belt as well, which probably kind of continues around and implies her holster going around her body. Kind of weird that these straps just kind of end on the back of the legs, especially since they did already print brown on the back. It would have probably made sense to continue those around. Not entirely sure why they didn't decide to do that. Especially, like I said, they were already printing brown on the back of the legs. Wouldn't have been a crazy extra step for that. So I'll probably knock them points a little bit there, but I'm pretty excited to have this version of the character, since I didn't end up picking up the original Clone Wars sets and did not get one of these for my collection. Which is why I really ended up picking this one up. I did kind of have a collection of all of the LEGO Star Wars bounty hunters. She's one of the ones that is missing and made a lot of appearances in the Clone Wars. I think the mold is really great, and a lot of the printing is really good. Let's go ahead and check out the other face print as well. And this will feature a much more annoyed or angry of an expression Same sort of green eyes as the other one, which was more of a smirk. So you get kind of the two ends of the spectrum of emotions that this character probably had in the show. Not a lot else to say, you know, it has the same sort of cheekbone structure, and the colors seem very similar, so it'll be nice that they are very compatible like that. And this would be probably more of a combat look that you could have. The other one could be more of a casual, being kind of a grubby bounty hunter. So 2 options for faces. Definitely makes this a lot more of a usable figure for your displays. And overall, very happy with the printing. I think this is a great figure, and if you're able to pick one up, I would recommend it. Let's move on to another one of the companies. Just getting a quick shot at the Gosler minifigure. Has a card on the inside with a render, you know, the minifigure. Then on the back, they're at. So nothing crazy, but it makes sense for a smaller production figure like this. But let's check it out. Taking a first look at this Gosler under, you know, the studio lights. I'm seeing a lot that I like. I do think it is a little interesting that based on the render, it looks like the dark tan was supposed to be a little bit lighter. I'm sure when they printed it on the reddish brown, you know, some of that color kind of bled through, changing up the shade like a little bit. I think the face expression is perfect for Ryan Gosling in a lot of his different roles. I definitely see myself using this head in some different mocks in the future if I chose to go that way, especially for the Fall Guy. I think this is perfect for that. Hairpiece pretty much is just that Obi-Wan look. Definitely see this being used for an Attack of the Clones Obi-Wan. It also fits Ryan Gosling for some of his roles. The front is just going to be some basic Jedi robes. I don't really think there's any Easter eggs or anything on the front. Nice belt printing, and all the different layers look pretty nice. The black lines kind of dividing the different layers of the clothing definitely work very well and are pretty close to what Lego would have done. No printing on the side of the minifigure at all. And the other little bit of meme for this character is that on the back you get the Scorpion from Drive, basically taking the design from the older Lego Scorpion and simplifying it for a 2D look here, which is nice. I've seen a couple of people do that instead of the more detailed look that the movie has. This does definitely fit in the Lego world a little bit better. And it's too bad it's on the back, you know, since most people would probably have the figure displaying from the front and you wouldn't see that as much. I guess you could kind of position a mirror on the back to make it so you could see it as well. But I think this is a very funny and fun concept. Just a nice meme minifigure to have, which is something that I kind of enjoy. And I'm just noticing too that they printed a little bit of extra print on the legs so you can bend them back a little bit and the printing doesn't break up right away. So that's kind of fun and interesting to see. I'm glad they were thinking about that little bit of extra detailing when they were making the minifigure. And that's really all there is to say about it. It just has the one face print, and what you see is what you get. If you're interested in this, I think they might have a couple more. Otherwise, you know, maybe this is sold out by now, but glad to have this one too. And that just leaves the Orbital Minifigures collabs as well. One in the packaging is going to be Cassian Andor in his disguise, and we also got this like composite Spider-Man based off of Spider-Man 3 with half symbiote and then half normal suit. No special packaging for this one at the moment, but taking a look at the Cassian figure, it features a really nice card in that clamshell, which was also used for the ticket for the order you could buy from in the panel they did, where it takes inspiration from the Death Star lighting, you know, Imperial symbols on the left there, Arabesh. Then on the back, same sort of thing with, I think this part here is like the Imperial credit sort of symbol. People that worked on the minifigure also on that side. And the colors on the lighting there also represent the rank badge. So lots of little details. They also talked about how they added the wear and tear on this. And it also has a nice holographic shine to it. So nice little bit of extra detailing on a card, especially for figures that come in the clamshells. Usually it is a pretty simple card design, and it sounded like that is something they wanted to go against. So let's go ahead and check out this figure now. Just taking a look at the Spider-Man minifigure first, since it is pretty straightforward and is going to be super classic. You know, surprisingly for this era of Spider-Man minifigures, they got a lot of extra printing since it got, you know, hip printing as well as back of the head printing on the original minifigures. Cool to see that continued here. And it is going to take a lot of design traits from the original Spider-Man minifigures. I don't have the dark blue version that was based on Spider-Man 2, but on my Spider-Man 1 here, you can see that designs kind of carry over. The mask design is going to be a lot different on this one. probably a little bit more accurate since these ones had some pretty big lenses on the figures. And back printing is going to be pretty similar as well. Obviously the spider symbol for Spider-Man 3 was different than the first one, I believe even the second one. And that back hip printing is going to be new for the custom version. Just taking a look at the back of the torso, it is a lot more of the solid Spider-Man 3 suit with a little bit of black. It's kind of cool though, it is kind of an organic shape, not just like a straight cut. So nice to see that. Nothing on the legs though, but you get the black arm too. It's kind of great seeing the black going all the way to the side of the head though. That's a little bit nice and extra. They didn't really have to go and do that, but having pretty much all wrap around on that side of the head is very cool, especially for a Spider-Man minifigure. Getting to the front, it does feel like the black is a little bit more 50-50 than like the back, where it is kind of scooching more a little bit that way. This is the probably coolest part of the minifigure, is all the different shading with the colors, where there's kind of that dark red, a little bit of dark blue for some muscle lines. But on the other side, it looks like it's a dark gray for the muscle lines. So lots of different colors being used here. The silver has a nice shine to it all over the place. And it looks like there is even a little bit of probably just dark gray, but darkness around the lenses that creates a nice contrast as well. And as I already kind of showed, you know, it is pretty much an updated version of the original Lego Spider-Man movie minifigures, which is perfect. That's what I'm really looking for anyway. And they're going to be doing versions of the suit from Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3, and then a new version of their symbiote. So definitely want to keep an eye out for those. And I know personally I am going to want those to complete this little collection, since I did get this one already as the convention version of the minifigure. Very happy to finally have a dark blue version of the suit anyway, since I did miss out on the Spider-Man 2 Lego sets. When those came out, I only ended up getting all of the Spider-Man 1 ones. Very happy to have this one. It is a very cool and unique take on the character, and it's going to be great in the collection. Let's go on to the last minifigure. And for Cassian here, not going to be a super detailed minifigure. The hat is a Lego piece. The legs are just dual molded legs, which were from Pick-a-Brick. Torso though looks great, you know, has the right amount of detailing, lines showing the different cuts in the clothes, nice metallic on the belt, and then you get his rinking and a pen in the pocket there. It's cool to see the face printed on a nice newer nougat of some sort, whatever skin tone this plastic is. Just get the officer hat off to get a better look at that. Has nice facial hair printing, and I'm really liking this face print here. I do think that Orbital has gotten a lot better at his designs, and this is another great example of that. He told a funny story though, where he was unable to finish the back prints for these and actually used K-Town's printing machines to finish it. So it's even a nice little collab there, where he was able to ship the plate to finish all these figures in Tennessee. So they described it as a very international project, which is very cool to see, people helping each other out in the industry, and then also just getting a nice figure like this that's going to easily slide into your Lego Star Wars collection. No complaints here. Like I said, very simple design, what you see is what you're going to get. And really no complaints here. You know, it was 15 bucks, and I think that's a really good price for what you're getting. And it's just fun to get another Star Wars character and somewhat of a convention exclusive in this figure. So all that being said, let's go to some comparisons and the final verdict. All of my custom minifigures are in a different state 12 hours away, so I had to throw in some normal Lego minifigures. I think Demogorgon legs, great choice there for that part, really adds to that minifigure, and all the design choices for that fits in very well with every other Geonosian character that has been put out. It is very nice to see the different design choices, but also a lot of similarities between the basic Geonosian from the Clone Wars and, of course, Sun Fac there. Of course, Boggle is a live-action movie representation, but still fits in with all of them. Getting to the Spider-Man one, already complimented that one a lot during that section. These two look great together, and I'm sure all of the different updated 2002 style suits are going to look great together too. And I don't have any of my Bounty Hunter minifigures here, but Aurra Sing is going to fit in great with any of those ones, especially from the battle pack of all the Bounty Hunters. Ryan Gosling's face print is going to be awesome to use in different fig bars. and Andor is going to be pretty fun to just throw in your Empire display somewhere, having him infiltrate. And I guess, might as well compare Mr. Gold and Jackstone there too to all of these. Just two of the peak LEGO minifigures in my collection. And I love collecting custom minifigures when they're making characters that LEGO hasn't done in forever or hasn't done as well, or when they fit in with an existing line, whether it is the original SpiderMan minifigures or when SJ Bricks says SpongeBob or anything like that. I think that is also very cool. And I'm not a big Star Wars collector, but when I get a chance to collect something that's a little bit rare and unique like this very community-oriented Star Wars character, I'll go for it, especially if the price is right. And I would definitely say that about him as well as Aurra Sing. Both of those have very great prints, really cool packaging, and are overall just great products to pick up. Let me know though, out of all of these figures so far, which ones do you enjoy? Are there any that you want to pick up? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to see more custom LEGO or LEGO Star Wars videos every once in a while, check out all the videos on my channel. I've been Brick Radiop, and I'll see you in the next video.